Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are getting our first chance to take a look at some Jurassic World Rebirth stuff. It's our very first figure hitting the channel. This is the Strike Attack Inostrancevia, and probably one of my most wanted figures from the line, so definitely exciting to have this one here. I do have to give a shout out and a thank you to my good friend Jim, who had sent this one over to me as a gift. I had no idea it was coming, so really pleasantly surprised that this arrived today. So again, a massive thank you goes out to him for his kindness. But you can see this figure looks awesome, and you've also of course got the Jurassic World Rebirth logo, the Spino down here, the name of the species, and then a little preview of the action feature and stuff up there. If you turn it around here, take a look at the back, you can see another shot here of the figure, as well as basically like that little checklist that you would need to see what other figures are in the wave. So let's pop this out of the box and check it out. So here is our Inostrancevia, and they definitely did a great job on this figure. It's obviously not going to be an accurate version of this species. Like, you can see the teeth are just a bit exaggerated, and the head might be slightly exaggerated, and you know, in general, it just doesn't look exactly as the animal would. In typical Mattel fashion, they have to kind of give it some flair, some flashiness with, you know, different things like that. You know, of course, the teeth being the most glaring issue as far as, you know, capturing the likeness of the actual animal, but I still think it has such a really cool design. I would love to see this thing actually show up in Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't know if it's going to, I doubt it, but it would be really neat if it did. If we go ahead, bring it in for a nice closer look, you can see the skin texture here on the face looks fantastic. You've got some really vibrant detail. You also have some variation of color with a dark brown as well as a red-orange that kind of runs up from the neck and runs through different areas of the face down under the eye and everything. The eye is painted with a yellow. Unfortunately, we don't have a black pupil, but we do have a dark brown pupil. We can see the nostrils sculpted out up here as well. I really quite like the skin texture on this. Of course, you have an articulated jaw. It is part of the action feature, I do believe. And actually, so it's both the upper and lower jaw that's sort of open. There we go. So if I push the action feature button, it actually just gives me a chance to look at it. But we can see the teeth are all sculpted pretty decently. They have a little bit of fine detail to them, and they also are painted with like an off-white, and do have a nice, fairly realistic look to them. The inside of the mouth, again, has a really nicely textured tongue that you can see. Very nice pinkish tone, and a gloss coat to give it a saliva-like look. You've got the detail there on the inside of the mouth and the upper side as well. Again, also featuring that saliva-like gloss coat, and of course the teeth on the lower jaw also look pretty decent. I like that they have a little bit more of a genuine sharp look than a lot of the older Mattel figures did, so loving the fact that Mattel continues to use these flexible teeth, which make them look so much better. As you move back into the neck, you see those dark browns kind of leading out of the face and then running down into the body. You also see that red-orange leading back, but that starts to taper away as you get down toward the bottom of the neck. The skin texture again looks really quite nice as you lead through the neck area. You can also see the throat and everything, a little bit of a different look to the type of skin texture down here for the underside. Leading back into the body of the animal, we can see again some more of that dark brown leading back. The red-orange is pretty much gone entirely at this point, and we basically just have like a light tannish tone for the body color of the figure. I do really quite like the fact that we see scars and everything on this, similar to what we had seen through the Chaos Theory line, especially when it comes to Wave 2, and we can see that this one as well does feature quite a few different scars and everything, just showing some life and basically showing that this animal has experienced things, so definitely a plus as far as that goes. Moving down the front leg, you've got the muscle definition. You can see the elbow as well as the nicely sculpted foot with some scoots running down the toes, and the nails do have a satin shine to them, but no actual paintwork. Same deal for the rear leg. As you move back up, you can see the rib cage there shining in the stomach a little bit, some skin wrinkles and folds and stuff back there in the stomach as well. Again, the dark brown continues to lead back, but once we reach the hip region, you can see it kind of breaks up and disappears leading back. Some nice muscle definition in the rear leg as well. Again, in the thigh and calf region, you can see more scars as you move down. Again, the foot sculpt is pretty much the same as far as the style, you know, with the scoots down the toes and everything. Leading back here, you've got the tail sculpted pretty decently, which does come out and have a nice little curve to it. Again, a few more scars even out here on the tail, and again, a little bit of a different style to the skin texture for the underside. Also, There is the Facts app code if you would like to add this one to your collection. And then if you turn the figure around, you're going to see pretty much the same thing, but the only real difference would be the positioning of the legs are obviously further forward on this side compared to what we had seen on the other side. But overall, it looks pretty close to the same. The only other difference that I could think of would be the difference in the positioning of the scars and stuff. But it is a really, really cool figure. Definitely a nicely sculpted and fairly nicely painted figure. Again, more paintwork moving out would have been okay, but I feel like the color scheme on this is fairly decent and almost has a kind of fully painted look if it just had painted nails. But it is definitely one of my favorite Mattel figures, honestly, to come in quite some time. As far as a size goes, for a length, you are looking at about 7 1/8, about 7 inches and about 1/8, or around 18 centimeters. And then for a height, just shy of 3 1/4 inches, or just a hair under 6 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A Human Being next to our Inostrancevia, and you can see that the figure is pretty much the size you would expect it to be, and no real surprises or anything here. Again, sitting in the Strike Attack size range, or Danger Pack, Attack Pack type size range you would expect it to be in. Now, since Mattel doesn't really give us very many species like this, nothing is really coming to mind, as far as good figures to compare with this. So we'll just do a few randoms. Here we have a Dilophosaurus. Again, you can see pretty close to the same size. And then, of course, your standard everyday Velociraptor from Mattel, giving you another pretty decent idea of the size of this one. Also, as far as the action feature goes, you push the tail down and that activates the striking, well, basically snapping action feature that you can see right there, which does work pretty nicely overall. So this brand new Mattel Jurassic World Rebirth Strike Attack Inostrancevia is definitely a really nice start to the line and is absolutely hyping me up for all of the other figures that are about to release here in the United States. The sculpt on this is extremely well done. I feel like Mattel's sculpt and fine detail has never looked more crisp, never looked more impressive. The paintwork on this one as well is quite nicely done. I'm a big fan of the tones of color, especially when it comes to like the red oranges and the way they play off of the dark browns of the face and then the lighter tones of the body. I think it all just blends and meshes really well together. I would have loved to have seen some painted nails for it, but it is what it is. We do also have some fun articulation, but it's pretty much the standard as far as, what you would expect for strike attacks, as well as, again, the action feature, which has a jaw-snapping action feature. I really like the newer, sharper-looking teeth, even on the smaller figures. That's a huge step forward for these type of figures because, for a little while there, it looked like these figures were still getting skipped when it comes to the newer teeth, but definitely excited to see that they are present on this one. Definitely making those larger, exaggerated teeth, like those fangs look really good. So overall, this is a great start to the Jurassic World Rebirth line. Definitely one of my favorite strike attacks to come from Mattel so far. If you are interested, these should start hitting, Walmarts and Targets and stuff here in the United States at some point very soon. And I know they are already hitting many different countries already, in like Canada and stuff like that. So hopefully these will be here in no time. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.